Hi, everyone. Welcome to the accountant edition of the Global Wellness HQ podcast. And today's episode, I'm going to talk about how, as a professional, specifically for accountants, but as other professionals, how you can launch a podcast as a way to grow your practice and to help your clients in the same effort. So one of the things we do is we host regular podcast episodes. I do it daily. Some people do it weekly. Some people do it monthly. In my humble opinion, the more you want to grow your business, the more often you're going to do it. Up to, like I said, I do mine daily. Honestly, I don't really see the point in a monthly unless you're really, really, really stretched for time and you're really desperate for some results but don't have the time to get it. So I'm going to talk about why in this episode. I'm going to talk about a little bit about why and how you launch a podcast. Now, first of all, the most important reason, and the reason I do this, is I launch a podcast to serve my community. And so for me, a podcast is ultimately a networking tool. It's how I meet new people. It's how I introduce people that I know, like, and trust to my people. It's a great way to build a community and it's a great way to share information. Unfortunately, a lot of accountants say I'm too busy or I don't have this energy. Back in the day when I actually ran my accounting practice, I did live events and I would introduce my clients to one another, and that was a fabulous way for me to grow. I didn't have the technology of podcasting available at that time. And I think the world has evolved now where podcasting makes sense. So, number one reason I host podcasts is to meet new people and to learn new things. Yes, that's two things in one, but really, truly for me, my podcasts are a networking tool. It gives me a chance to meet almost anyone. And if I meet them and I like them, I can easily share them with my network through the podcast. Now, what you don't see is that occasionally I interview somebody, I meet somebody, they're not a fit for my audience. Those episodes never get aired because I don't believe in my heart that meeting that person is the best for my audience. So, as the podcast host, you want to be really, really selective as to who you interview. And here's the secret: most entrepreneurs feel like they're alone or they're trying to figure things out on their own. So, the best thing I've found is to get people to share their stories. Come on the show. And as an accountant, I think one of the bonus things you can do is you can feature, first of all, your clients. So, you can introduce your clients to other clients and obviously with their permission. It's a great way for entrepreneurs to share their journey, share what they've learned along the way, share how they feel they've been most successful, why they feel they've been most successful. But basically, you're sharing information about the entrepreneurial journey that will bring your clients together. Now, the secret to that is if your clients are being guests on your show and you're promoting your clients, other potential clients are going to see that and say, I want to work with that accountant. Most accountants are cost. You're actually going to be an accountant that helps your clients in many ways, including introducing them to other people. So when I ran my accounting practice, I think my greatest success was not the practice itself, but it was all the deals and collaboration that happened in and amongst my guests. So, sorry, my clients. So, if you bring them together, that's a wonderful win. Now, the other thing I like to do with a podcast is I like to feature businesses that my clients need. So, for example, it might be a commercial banker, commercial insurance, commercial real estate agent, um, business attorney, corporate attorney, anybody who also serves business, print companies, marketing agencies, office supply, people who do renovations, people who do commercial plumbing, commercial electrical. Basically, I interview what I call key strategic partners, and these are other businesses that also do business with my dream client. And the best way you can do that is reach out to your existing clients and say, hey, I'm looking for a great attorney. I'm looking for a great insurance person. Who do you know? And basically, what you're doing is you're going to ask your guests, these key strategic partners, you're going to ask them for tips and advice that your clients need to hear. For example, having an insurance person, what is key person insurance? Having a commercial realtor, what are some clauses they should watch out for in leases? What's the market looking like to buying space? Things like that, and focus on solving the problems, asking the questions that your clients would want to have answered. And what that does is, number one, it builds your relationship with your strategic partner. Number two, it makes it easy for them to share you with their network. And that's really the heart of what I do with podcasts. I tell my guests this, that I care more about who they connect with than the vanity metrics of how many people listened to my podcast, how many people shared it, how many people liked it. I really don't care about the vanity metrics. What I care about is if one of my contacts has a challenge, I can send them a recording and say, hey, watch this podcast. If you like this person, they can help you with that problem. So I see podcasting as a networking tool and a problem solving tool. And by being the person who cares about my clients and my connections and helping them connect and solve problems, I win all day long and throughout. Now, the final thing I want to share is truly a secret. If you're not about networking, you're going to get very different results from podcasting than I do. I truly believe that building authentic relationships is the number one growth strategy in business. I build relationships with employees, with clients, with prospects, and of course, with key strategic partners. So if you're not willing to build relationships, you may want to think about whether or not you want to do a podcast. Now, having said that, if you do believe in relationships in business, you believe in referrals and introductions and recommendations, and by the way, that's how most accountants get most of their clients, is through introductions and recommendations. But if that's what you believe in, then I highly recommend that you go down the path. And it doesn't take a lot of time and energy to launch a podcast. Most professionals have their own website already. You just add another landing page on the website. And I actually have another episode I recorded on how to launch a podcast in 30 minutes or less. If you're serious about growing your accounting practice or professional services business of any kind, I can't stress enough the power of a podcast. So, to that end, I'm always looking to interview accountants. My audience is entrepreneurs. They're looking to grow their business. And the number one piece of advice I give up front is you need to have a good accountant in your corner. And when I say good accountant, I mean somebody who's willing to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in your business, and somebody who cares deeply about your success. Technical skills are great, but they're everywhere. Most accountants have the technical skills needed. What we want is somebody with the attitude and the personality to want to help their clients grow. So if you're one of those accountants who loves your clients, you care deeply, and you want to figure out ways to help them, let's have a chat. I would love to interview you on my podcast and introduce you to my community. For the business owners, if you're watching this and you've got an accountant that you love, I would really love to meet them. I'd love to feature them on my show. So that's the highlights of how to host a podcast. I'm just going to recap that my three favorite things about a podcast are: I can learn something new, I can meet new people, and I can share that with my community. So that's my why. That's what drives me. If you are thinking about starting a podcast, or if you're wondering, how do I grow my business no matter what the economy is doing, let's have a conversation. And by all means, join my community and meet some of my great strategic partners. Thank you.